Alright, what's up YouTube? This is Rich from Arm Custom Shop, and in this episode I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to be doing the water to air intercooler on the Loaded Miata. Going to be using water to air intercooler, a Harbor Freight pump, a Mini Cooper reservoir, and a transcooler. The reason I'm doing water to air is because I don't feel like deleting AC or power steering. I want to keep both of those because this is the Loaded Miata. It has every option. And I really just want to get this car to be turbo without deleting stuff. And water to air is going to be the easiest way of doing that. This whole turbo setup is going to be running me about $600 minus the ECU and all that other stuff. So just the basic stuff to turbocharge your Miata, I'm looking at $600. The intercooler setup, I think it was $80 for the cooler. Everything else I'd have to be another $50 or so, which isn't bad. So I want to show you guys how I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to get to that right now. Alright, so what we got here is just, I deleted my washed reservoir, and I made a custom aluminum bracket, just a straight piece of aluminum with a 90-degree at the end, and a screw that went already through a pre-made hole on the body. So I didn't even have to really modify anything for that. And like I said, I'm using a Mini Cooper reservoir. As you can see here, these Mini Cooper reservoirs, they have a 3/8 inlet and I believe it's a 5/8 outlet, which kind of makes it weird. So you see I have this adapter bit going here. I know it looks weird, but it's the only way I can really make it work without, modifying it. I didn't really want to do that. Just in case I need to replace it, I can just go get another one and bolt it in. So for the bracket that's holding it to the wash fluid reservoir, I actually use a piece of angle iron with holes already drilled into it, just galvanized steel, no big deal. You can pick this stuff up from Tractor Supply and Home Depot for really cheap. So I just cut a little piece of that, drilled a hole, put these short screws in. I think these came off of my Miata, actually, my old one, and just made two little, about a 110-degree brackets, and these hold the reservoir right in place, and then that top bracket goes into the top hole here, and it just bolts right in. And let me just move the camera a little bit. So this just ends up getting shoved right down into here. I use the stock bolts at the bottom here, so you just screw right into the factory holes. I didn't have to re-drill anything. And this piece of aluminum goes up and around. This is why you need ratcheting wrenches. Yeah, this side alone holds this in pretty tightly. And then we have a bolt up at the top. This is just from our metric kit that we have from AutoZone. Yeah, there already is a hole made right here, so I didn't have to make a hole. That's the only reason I put this where it is. I want to do a little modification to the car as I can to make this build work. And so far, I'm doing pretty well. Okay, as you can see, it's held in here pretty solidly. It's actually moving the whole fuse box. So that right there is how you set up your reservoir. Alright, now the pump I'm pretty proud of. Now stock, you have the purge valve, you have the purge valve right here from the factory. This is mounted on this nice little bracket here. As you can see, zoom the focus camera. Yeah, it's mounted on this bracket, mounts right into this hole. This is a Harbor Freight utility 12-volt pump. You can pick these up for, I believe, around $30. This is 300 gallon per hour flow, so it's pretty decent. And sorry about the wires. It actually bolts perfectly onto this onto the factory bracket. I used 2 bolts. This one actually threads into the pump. I just used a slightly longer screw and just screwed it right into the pump. And then I used the factory purge valve screw use a factory purge valve screw and one other screw and just tighten it down, and it's really solid. And then this just bolts up into the factory location for that. Okay, so once you get your pump mounted and your reservoir mounted, you can start mounting the lines. Now these are all 3/8 fittings, 3/8 lines. They're just the pump and the intercooler. They're both pipe thread, just different sizes. On this, I'm running this clear nylon tubing, braided tubing, because it looks really cool, and I'm running Penafrost G12, and it looks amazing. I just want to see all that pink fluid running through there. It looks really cool. I already tried the pump. It works. Not terribly loud, not terribly quiet, but it'll work. So yeah, you can start running your piping, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. Turbo's not going in yet, so I'm going to have to run a nylon fitting just for now in place of this, but I'm going to run the lines to the cooler. You see the cooler sitting down in there. Okay, as you saw before, I had this already pretty much ready to go. Let me just relieve the pressure on this. Oh, wonderful. This way you only get on your antifreeze. Alright, so you run this piping, and you want to run a hose clamp. When you're doing this, you want to make sure you use Teflon tape on all the brass fittings. You want to make sure that this is not going to leak anytime soon. There's nothing worse than leaking coolant, especially when you have an electric pump that could overheat and then you could have a fire. And you don't want to have fires. Fires are not fun. Okay. Intercooler is going to be mounted right here. So I just have to run lines from here to here, and then one down into the cooler. And then one from the cooler to back to the reservoir, but let's start off with the simple stuff first. You get this stuff from Home Depot. Comes in a 10-foot roll. I got 2 rolls. Should be more than enough. And I'll get myself a little extra. Give myself some working space. Now you want to find the best place to route your hose. You don't want to route it near anything too hot or something where it's going to rub and cause wear. Okay, so there's going to be certain parts of this I'm not going to show you. I'm not going to show you how I'm going to be running all the lines. I'll show you a finished thing, but I really don't want to go through because I'm getting really OCD with some of this stuff, but I want it done right. I am going to show you how I am doing the protective wrapping on this stuff. This is just wire conduit, 1/2 inch. Pick this stuff up from Harbor Freight, AutoZone, wherever you prefer. But on this stuff, let's see if the camera focus. Basically wrapping it around, then I'm putting zip ties every so often, and this is going to protect it from stuff rubbing against it because I have to run it right next to the radiator and the AC condenser. And this can protect it from heat and wear. It does kind of limit the flexibility of it, but I want to protect it as best as I can, and this is how I'm doing it. Okay, so here's the finished product. As you can see, every little bit that comes in contact with something, I wrapped in the wire protector, and it came out really nice. Everything's plumbed away from anything hot. You can't even see where some of the stuff goes, but I left everything a little bit long just because I know that water to air is going to be moved back a little bit, but everything is attached very nicely. And even the oil cooler, let's see if I can get down there and show you. Oil cooler's mounted pretty much where it has to be. Everything looks nice and neat. And it's only less than a month away from going turbo on this thing. This is just one more step to getting there. So stay tuned for more on the Loaded Miata Build. And there'll be a lot more coming very shortly. And I made a huge mess with a ton of freaking zip ties, but it looks wonderful.